Merajito 20K here, and I'm doing a walkthrough of Revision 1, the very first release of the Star Citizen Hangar that just came out as of something like, I want to say 6 or 7 Pacific time. So here you have it. You have the Freelancer right here, and I gotta say it was a bigger ship than I had actually expected it to be. Again, amazing amount of detail for such an early build of this module. I mean, this is pre-alpha, and as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of room inside, which was surprising. And right here you see there's all these different areas for crew members to sit, and actually quite a lot of room for cargo. There's even a little turret up at the top, which is something I found quite interesting that I was not expecting. Now you got to be careful because this ramp is actually very steep and you can fall out very easy. One thing I did notice was there's no actual sound when the door closes, and I imagine that'll probably be implemented pretty soon once they start finding all the little bugs and all that stuff. So because this is a working ship, you have to have all sorts of gauges. You got the sensor field, you got so much stuff that we don't even know about in these working displays. Since this being a two-person ship, as you'll see here in a second, you'll actually have the second person being able to get up in the middle of flight or combat and either man that secondary turret or man the different areas of the ship, which could be, say, sensors or any number of things really, until we find out more about the different things that we'll be able to do with each individual ship. Now, you will see a little bit of some shading. I'm not really sure what to call it, but the light coming through the windows kind of coming out blocky. I'm sure they'll fix that later. Again, the actual detail of the little displays everywhere is like mind-boggling, to be honest. I don't know very many games at all that actually have done this level of detail inside a ship and actually allowed you to walk around inside of it nonetheless. They said on average it was usually about I believe it was like 8 to 13 million polygons per every ship that they have made, which makes for an extreme amount of detail. And then they actually were able to further expand this among the entirety. One thing that I should mention is this is the Deluxe hangar, meaning it's pretty much based on your ship size, and they have certain little things hidden like a trophy rack right here, which this is from the Gamescom reveal of the hangar in honor of that. Certain little cosmetic things that you can get, but unfortunately that one will not be available for newer backers. Now here we have the this is the Origin Jumpworks 350R, and this is sort of their premier racing model. Not a lot of weaponry. Certain things can be mounted on it, as you see. There's like different rail points and everything like that, but the main feature of this is actually those back thrusters, and this will allow for pretty high top speeds and a lot of maneuverability. Again, I'd like to show how much detail that are in every single one of these ships, and I honestly think it's absolutely amazing. I personally you really don't see that on many games where they put this level of detail inside and out of every single thing they do. And I guess that's what makes building this on the Crytek engine that much more, I guess, amazing. How much they actually have to do with the engine in order to bring this level of detail and fidelity into it. And pretty soon you'll see the inside here as I go up these stairs. And note some of the animations may be a little weird, maybe some camera clipping, stuff like that. Again, it's very, very, very early in this build. And we're actually looking at the 30th. There's supposed to be another update that's supposed to add more stuff into this hangar. So here we're still looking at how much detail is really in this. And like even the seat moves, all the controls, every single one of these gauges will actually work. And that's something that I find absolutely amazing, because there's a lot of games out there that, yeah, they have all these pretty little gauges, but do they actually do anything? And that kind of draws away from the actual function, where CIG really wanted to put every single bit of this ship to have the function that you would expect from a real breathing spacecraft. And as you can see, controls move, but as of right now, there's no actual like movement of the outside of the ship. But as you know, that'll come in time. Now, as of right now, a little interesting fact: every single one of these ships that you can actually get inside of and pilot right now is actually usable in game. They said during the Hangar release out in Germany during Gamescom that they actually had to disable that from this build. I think that may be one reason why they got why the release may have been delayed a little bit, but that's to be expected. Here we have the this is the Hornet, and this is not the military version that you normally see. This is actually the civilian version, and it doesn't have quite the same loadout that you would expect from pretty much a military ship, but going with the lore of the game, it actually had to be completely redesigned about 60% by the manufacturer's anvil in order to actually give this to the civilian market. So some things might not be exactly the same, and as always, things are subject to change. But again, I want to show how much detail they put in just the cockpit alone. Man, it's amazing, to be honest, to look at it. And again, every single bit of it's going to move, have function. It's really mind-boggling, to be honest. I'm really excited to actually see what every single one of the gauges in this is actually going to do, function, every single piece's purpose overall. And they designed it just like a fighter jet, and that was really the main purpose on designing this. Being that this is a civilian model, they actually removed the little ball turret that would be in the center of the ship, that I'll go into more detail in another video, basically going over a more in-depth look of every single ship as time goes by. But in the background here, you see the Constellation and more just how big everything is. And you can kind of see where different areas in the hangar actually are split up and actually will continue on based on how many ships you have. But here is the pride and joy of CIG. They call it the Millennium Falcon of Star Citizen, really. The Rolls Royce. She's huge. This is the Constellation. It is a 4-person ship. It has various missile racks, tons of places to put different weapons, and that'll be put more into depth in another video pretty soon. Just admiring the detail as we go along. I kind of wish I had included the audio as I was actually looking, but it was something that I didn't want to capture all the sound from my computer really pumping hard in order to get the level of detail out of it. Yeah, again, it's amazing to actually see what she looks like close up. And this was actually not available during the Hangar release originally in Germany. This is actually brand new, and a lot of us are finally seeing the actual fully lit inside of the Constellation. So here, as you can see, there's a lot of room inside, surprisingly, and there's tons of gauges for various crew members who might not be at their seats to look around, and maybe the pilot's doing I don't know what, but he's not around, and got a relay over the voice chat or whatever that maybe your fuel's getting low, temperatures on the engines are getting high. Now, the last little bit of the Constellation, this is the main control area. And they actually, it's pretty amazing how much detail they put into this. So in this little area, you have that main shaft right there in front of you before we spun around. And that actually operates the 2 turrets that actually move up, one up and one down for one of your 4 crew members. And that'll actually be used to provide quite a lot of extra firepower. They can even be manned by an AI crew if you choose to bring them on board during your missions. Another thing is there's a lot of display information on that screen, and it'd be interesting to find out what everything is actually representing, but until we get a future update, you can kind of see what they may indicate, but until we actually see it in action, we don't really know. Again, you have your 2 co-pilot chairs, and then there's the little turret area up and down, as I was saying. Now here we have the actual cargo bay area. 2 interlocking rings on the outside on either side, and then that little coffin kind of thing in the very middle is actually a storage hangar bay. So this ship has its own like mini fighter that's able to be placed in the belly cargo area, and you can kind of see it there, but unfortunately we can't actually access it at this time. I imagine if it's not in tomorrow's patch, then it will be in a future update. They usually said there's going to be updates every 2 weeks to a month, and there's supposed to be 3 revisions by the end of the year. So this is part 1. I want to thank you guys for taking your time to go through this hangar with me, and I'll see you in part 2.